The moment the news broke, nobody expected Damson Idris to be curled up at home, doing something so unexpectedly wholesome. While Hollywood buzzed, phones lit up, and headlines raced to announce a fresh Golden Globe nominee, Damson Idris was sitting on his couch. And in that simple, almost poetic moment, a story began that perfectly captured who Damson Idris really is at this stage of his career. Grounded, reflective, inspired, and quietly confident that his moment has arrived. At a glamorous celebration honoring first-time Golden Globe nominees, Damson Idris sat down with Denny Directo, glowing with the kind of energy that only comes when years of hard work finally start to pay off. His film F1 had just earned a nomination for cinematic and box office achievement, placing him squarely in the middle of one of Hollywood's biggest conversations. But instead of talking about parties, champagne, or industry power plays, Damson revealed something far more human. When he found out about the nomination, he wasn't surrounded by flashing cameras or screaming fans. He was at home, calm, comfortable, watching The Grinch. That detail alone sent waves across the internet because it said everything. While many stars chase validation, Damson Idris was celebrating in a way that felt deeply personal. Watching Jim Carrey bring a timeless character to life reminded him of the kind of magic movies are supposed to create. The kind that lasts. The kind that transcends generations. The kind that makes you laugh, reflect, and feel something long after the credits roll. As Denny Directo pressed him on where exactly he was when the nomination news arrived, Damson smiled and leaned into the moment. He admitted that he was already in the holiday spirit, already soaking in nostalgia, already letting himself be inspired. Watching The Grinch wasn't just about entertainment, it was about observing greatness. Jim Carrey's fearless transformation, his physical comedy, his commitment to character, all of it sparked something deeper inside Damson. He even joked about whether he might be one of the next actors capable of carrying that kind of expressive, transformative energy forward. Not in an arrogant way, but in a hopeful, aspirational one. Because every actor who truly loves the craft sees themselves in the legends before them. They imagine the possibilities. They wonder what risks they're willing to take. They ask themselves how far they're willing to go. When asked whether he'd endure hours-long prosthetic transformations like Jim Carrey, Damson Idris laughed and admitted that maybe that part wasn't for him. At least not yet. But the joy, the commitment, the fun, that was something he deeply connected with. He spoke about how The Grinch has stood the test of time, how people are still talking about it decades later, and how rare it is for a film to achieve that kind of cultural immortality. That reflection led naturally into a broader conversation about movies today and what audiences crave. Damson expressed hope that films with heart, humor, and soul, the kind that families can watch together, would make a strong comeback. Movies that don't just dominate opening weekends, but live on in memory. Movies that become traditions. Movies like The Grinch. The conversation then shifted to F1, the film that helped bring Damson Idris into this Golden Globe moment. Watching F1 with his family after Thanksgiving dinner wasn't just another screening. It was a milestone, a moment of pride, a reminder of how far he's come. Sharing that experience with loved ones made the achievement feel real, tangible, and deeply emotional. As Denny Directo pointed out just how brilliant the film was, Damson accepted the praise with humility. He didn't speak like someone who felt entitled to success. Instead, he spoke like someone still absorbing it. Someone still learning. Someone who genuinely considers himself a baby in the industry, despite standing shoulder to shoulder with Hollywood giants. That self-awareness might be one of Damson Idris's greatest strengths. He openly admitted that being included in rooms like this, nights filled with industry legends, rising stars, and creative powerhouses, is both thrilling and humbling. He described himself as a sponge, constantly absorbing knowledge, inspiration, and lessons from everyone around him. There was something incredibly refreshing about hearing a Golden Globe nominee speak with that level of honesty. No bravado, no ego, just gratitude, curiosity, and hunger to grow. And when Denny Directo joked about whether this would be his first and last nomination, the answer felt obvious to everyone listening. Damson Idris is only getting started. The laughter that followed wasn't nervous, it was joyful. Because deep down, both interviewer and audience could sense the truth. This wasn't a fluke. This wasn't a lucky break. This was the result of years of dedication, discipline, and belief. And nights like this weren't the destination. They were checkpoints. As the interview neared its end, the conversation turned to the big night itself. The 83RD Annual Golden Globe Awards, hosted by Nikki Glaser, airing live on CBS and streaming on Paramount+, promised to be one of the most talked about events of the year. When asked if he'd be attending, Damson Idris didn't hesitate. He confirmed he'd be there, and then revealed who he hoped to bring as his date: his mom. That simple answer instantly melted hearts. He joked about the long flight, about convincing her to get on a plane, but there was no mistaking the sincerity behind it. Bringing his mother to the Golden Globes wasn't about optics. It was about honoring the woman who supported him long before the spotlight ever did. In an industry often criticized for losing touch with reality, moments like this remind us why we fall in love with stories, and with the people who tell them. Damson Idris isn't just celebrating a nomination. He's celebrating a journey. One that includes family movie nights, childhood inspiration, and quiet moments of reflection that happen far away from red carpets. As awards season heats up, all eyes will be on Damson Idris. Not just to see if he takes home a trophy, but to see how far he continues to rise. Because if watching The Grinch while receiving life-changing news tells us anything, it's that he understands something many forget. Success means nothing if you lose the joy along the way. And if this Golden Globe nomination is any indication, joy, humility, and inspiration may be exactly what carries Damson Idris into Hollywood's next generation of legends.